Listen here, feller. I'm Caitlin.
I'm Josh.
And we are back with another episode. Technically, we haven't really recorded in a few weeks. Kind of, just
Yeah.
kind of like to date this. It makes it a little dated, but I think the last episode that we recorded was like maybe in August. Like the beginning of August. I don't really remember.
Well, you say that, like, when is this episode supposed to come out? Like, what if this comes out in, like, November? And then they're like, well,
Exactly.
okay, so the last time you recorded was August, but when did you record this? Like,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
just to give a rundown, we talked about my little Disney trip in an episode that, like episode 5 or whatever, and I ended up getting COVID. So I had to quarantine at home for like a week and a half, and then just been working. So like towards the end of the quarantine, we're like, oh, should we record? And then I don't know what happened, but the last 3 days that I was like stuck in the house, I felt like really crappy. I was just like, oh yeah, let's record an episode. And then I'll be sitting at the computer and we were doing something like playing Minecraft, and I was like, yo, I gotta take a nap.
I was actually thinking, sorry, this is, like, going back, like, a minute, but I know you brought up, you dropped the ball on COVID. I was just thinking, like, have we missed, like, any weeks? Because I remember when we first started doing this, you were like, oh, we could do, like, one a week.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I never, Caitlin does everything behind the scenes. I just kind of show up, and she's like, we're going to do this. I'm like, okay, cool, let's do it, record. And I find myself wondering if we've missed any weekly uploads.
Yeah.
We have?
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't you say anything? We could have recorded more often.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, during quarantine, I was like feeling really crappy, and like, do you not remember those last few couple days before I went and got
Oh, yeah.
tested? I was just like, I
Well,
don't feel good. Let's not do anything.
well, I was here, but, like, you didn't say, like, we don't have an episode to put up for, like, these couple weeks.
Oh,
I thought it was like a thing of, like,
Well,
we have, like, a backlog of things.
yeah, we did technically, but I don't think they were on time. Is the thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, like, you didn't upload the backlog because you felt like poopy, and I don't know how to do the internet
Exactly.
YouTube thing.
I could have taught
Okay,
you.
cool.
But yeah. Anyways.
Well, if you could have taught me, you could have just done it. Jeez, Caitlin.
God, all my fault.
Yeah, it's all your fault.
Okay. Anyways, just to kind of catch everybody up, that's what's been going on with our lives. But I've had a few people outside of like our little group here at home tell us that they like our podcast, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I hear from like friends of ours from like high school. They're like, oh yeah, it's so cool listening to you guys. So shout out to you. You know who you are.
We're watching.
We're listening.
We're kind of like Santa Claus. Except we don't give you nice things. Or coal.
Just an audio clip to listen to.
But either ways, that's not here or there. We're here to talk about stupid things
Okay.
that we like.
Yeah. So again, this is a spoiler warning. A few things that we're going to talk about is like My Hero and the last couple of episodes that we've watched, and some horror, some American Horror Story stuff, and then some movies that were like on Netflix and Hulu and everything. So just to kind of start us off, we're going to start with My Hero, of course.
Yeah. What else would we talk about? We always talk about that. I just wanted to start this off because usually we talk about things like oh, what we thought about this new episode, or like where we think it's going, or like I would shout at you about not being caught up on My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Even though now you're getting very close to being caught up on My Hero Academia.
Just to update everybody else, I'm at chapter 201. Because the last time I think you asked me, I was at like 12.
Yeah. I wanted to ask a different question because I don't think we've really talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you always have this conversation with, like, when you watch a show with someone, like, oh, who are your favorite characters? And I just want to know who are your like top 5, because
Ooh.
We've recently just seen the newest episode. It came out, I think it was 2 days ago, and like they're finally doing the part that I've wanted to see, which is the My Villain Academia
Yeah.
arc, because there's a lot of really cool shit that goes down in that arc, and they're finally doing it, and now you're here and you're watching it. So I feel like I can ask you now, like, who are your favorite?
So in my top 5, because we've been watching the manga, watching the anime, and I've been reading the manga, I'm gonna kind of clump them together. So there's no particular order right now because I I'm not prepared. But I would have to say that Deku is definitely my top 5. I love, I about said Presentation Michael. That's what people on the
Oh my
internet kind of
god.
call him. So Present Mike, Aizawa, of course.
You actually, President Mike is in your top 5? You're going to give him one of your top 5
Yes,
slots?
I love him. I know you
No,
think he
he's the
looks
worst.
insane, but it's fine.
He looks like a villain, dude. Look
It's
at his eyeballs.
okay. I also love Shoto. He's in my top 5. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna give all my another spot because in the manga I've just like I love his character. I don't know why. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it.
He's just a good guy, man.
Well, I think it comes out better in the manga than in the
Anime.
anime. Thank you. I'll come back to that in a minute because I want to talk about my 5 because your top 5 were insane. Since I've had longer to think about it, I think I will order mine because it's the best. It's the best order.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only order. Top slot number 1. We got Twice. Jin Bubagawara. I always fuck up his last name.
Yeah.
But I love Twice. He's fucking dope. And you finally like understood why. And a week ago now, I was like shouting at Caitlin because they did the episode and then they did the like little special like, oh, tune in next time to see this. And we saw the title intro and it was Sad Man's Parade and I was like, yes, because it's like a very cool thing. And like Caitlin said like a minute ago, spoiler warning, Sad Man's Parade is one of his ultimate moves where like he makes like a billion copies of himself because he can make infinite copies.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just like spams it and he's like really strong because of it. But I don't like it because of that move, even though I think it's like a really cool mechanical thing that's really interesting to talk about. But I just like, because everyone in this arc goes through like some form of character development.
Yeah.
And I liked his the best. Toga had a really nice one, which is like, not that it's surprising because she's a villain, but it's surprising because she's like one of the only female characters in the show to like get character development.
Yeah, I don't know how well to like explain this because like, you know, Ochako goes through this thing where it's like, at first she wants to be a hero because she wants to help her parents. She wants to make sure that they can live a comfortable life and everything. But then she like develops herself because she wants to be more like Deku because not only does she just like him, but like she just sees how well of a hero that he's gonna be that she wants to be like him in that sense. So like I can see the argument that like that's a bit of character development, but it's just so slight. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah, and it also didn't take that much to like evoke it, even though like the idea is that the main character Deku in this case like it has that effect on people. Like that's usually like kind of a hand wavy kind of thing. You could say is that like the main character has like such a position that like without doing much they can convince people to be their friends.
Yeah.
Or like at least agree with them. Naruto has that problem. Not that it's a problem. It's just I don't know. It seems like it's almost becoming old hat at this point. Like every time I watch an anime, there's always that one character who's like, we're not that different. And it's just like, oh, okay. I'm watching Naruto now. But continuing on, number 1, obviously Twice. 2, I would have to say Aizawa.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go back and reread it because I forgot about it. It's been so long since I've read it, but I like saw it in the newest chapter. I was like, holy shit, I forgot about that. I had to go back and read it, and I would discuss it, but it's going to spoil it for you, and you don't even fucking know because you're not caught up yet, so fuck you. Number 3 would be Toga.
Ooh.
I don't know why, but there seem to be like a lot of like villains on my mind that I just really think are really cool. Toga's like I really dug her arc in this. I didn't really care for her character before My Villain Academia. Like she had some very interesting parts before that, like when they did the summer school thing, the summer school arc where they go and they hang out with like the Pussycat dolls or whatever the fuck.
The Pussycats.
Their little troop. The Pussycats, is that what their troop is?
I think that's what it's called. I keep calling them Pussycat Dolls because that's a band.
Yeah. They were hanging out with them and she was in it and it was like, whatever. But in this new one, like we kind of get her backstory, like who she is, and they also bring in the argument of like what is normal when you have quirks. And like the whole Meta Liberation Army idea, I think is a very interesting one, and it works very well in the story.
Mm-hmm.
And when they throw it in there with like with a character like Toga. I think it just really cemented how much I like her character.
Right.
Number 3.
Number 4.
Number 4, thank you. I can't really count. See, this is where it gets hard. I have some ideas, but I don't really know if I really like those characters or not. I like Danky a lot.
Yeah.
And you don't know why. I don't like him because he's like the comedy character. You'll find out.
Okay.
Soon enough when you finally fucking read the manga. I think it happens around like chapter 240, 250.
Mm-hmm.
But something happens and I'm like, oh yeah, definitely. I dig it. It's not development in a sense, but it's like seeing what he can be. I'm like, okay, cool. This is great. I know we'll probably never see this come to fruition, but I love the idea that the idea is there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to see it, but I probably never will. So he's going to just be stuck in number 4. And number 5, I think my least favorite character would probably be... Fuck, I don't actually know. I actually kind of find a lot of the My Hero characters almost annoying. Like, I don't like Ida whatsoever.
Yeah, he's gotten on my nerves well, I'd say recently, but like since I started reading the manga.
Well, and I like recognize that like at some point he kind of got shelved, like right after the Stain arc. Like after that, like they're always talking about like, oh yeah, with my brother. I'm like, can we talk about something new, please? Like, Horikoshi, you've taken the time to draw him in the panel. Can we talk about something other than his fucking brother and the time he tried to kill a villain? But I just don't really like Ojiro either. I don't really care about him. Like every time he's on screen, I'm like, yeah, I know he's like the plain hero, normal man, or whatever. But like, I just don't care. He's just not interesting. Now that I think about it, I probably have to say Shinso.
Yeah.
I think he has a really cool quirk, and he has a really good foundation. But I just feel like he's on the list because I've seen a lot of content with him, like on like TikTok or just on the internet in general, where like people just kind of come up with headcanons, and I totally agree with them. So he's just going on the list.
Right.
Wait, no, fuck Shinso. I want Fat Gum on the list. I love Fat Gum.
Okay.
I stan Fat Gum. He's just really cool.
Right.
I just think he's neat. I said something earlier. I forgot what it was. I was like, oh, we should talk about that here in a second. But no, I forgot because I was too busy trying to remember which My Hero characters don't get on my nerves when I read about them or watch them in the show.
Too busy simping for Fat Gum.
Yeah, too busy simping for Fat Gum. Make that into a t-shirt. Well, I guess we could just talk about the show since my brain doesn't want to work about like remembering things that we talked about like 5 minutes ago.
So you were talking about Toga being in your top favorites.
Mm-hmm.
That made me think about her little arc that she had and getting to see her background and everything. And I'm not like a person to show emotions a lot, like even being like really shocked and everything, because when we discover that Toga can use people's quirks when she becomes that person, Josh was straight up just looking at me like, are you not just blown away? And
yeah, I don't even
like,
look at Caitlyn. I don't even look at the TV anymore. I look at Caitlyn just because I know what's happening and I know what's going to go on. I'll just look away from the TV and look at her and just wait for the emotional reaction. And, more often than not, she's just dead ass just looking at the TV, just
but
kind of like
just
like
know
person.
Deep down, like at least in that moment, I was just like, I was really just like questioning. I was like, how is she using the quirk? Like, how is she doing that? Like, what's going on? But I just wasn't like visually showing you it.
Yeah, the same thing happened with I think it was 2 episodes ago with Shirakumo in Tartarus prison.
Yes, yeah.
Like, I knew what was going on. I knew what was going to happen. I just wanted to see what your face was. And we talked about this on the episode. But again, you were just like dead ass, just looking at the TV, not showing any emotion.
Yeah.
I was like, are you dead on the inside? You're like, I don't know what's going on.
I don't know, man.
It's not the entire reason why, but the reason why Toga's number 2, I forgot to mention this part, is because her dope is so fucking dope.
Her dope is so dope.
Did I not say quirk?
No.
Bro, I slept 7 hours, but I'm working on 15 minutes of sleep, okay? You're gonna have to give me some time. My brain's working at like 50% capacity. Her quirk is so fucking dope because she basically has Monema's quirk, but she gets like the like added bonus of like being like covert because she can like morph into people. That in a line with like her character, because it's easier to explain if you've seen the show, but if you've seen the show, you don't need me to explain it. But if just in case you haven't, it's the idea of like you have superpowers and everybody has like superpowers. Most people's powers are dumb and they're like they're disallowed from using them unless you become a villain or a hero, and then you can use them. There's the idea of like what normalcy looks like when you have quirks born from like a non-quirk society. Essentially, like Toga like wants her base thing is like she wants to be loved or something, or she wants to become the thing she loves. That's the word for it.
Yeah.
That's the phrase. And in order to do that, just like ingest people's blood. So like, how can you be normal if you have to be like fucking crazy like that? Because to regular people who don't have blood related quirks, that's fucking insane. But to like someone who has a blood related quirk, where it's just kind of a darkish theme, you're like, oh, that makes sense. That would be pretty normal for them. But to anybody else, it'd be like, you're fucking crazy if you want to eat people.
Yeah.
I just that has a lot of like likeness to my mind because it reminds me of a movie starring Henry Rollins called He Never Died, and he has a line in the movie where he's like, how can you ever be sane when you have to fucking eat people or something like that? It was just, I really enjoyed that movie, and every time I think about Toga, I think about that. So that probably adds a lot of my favor to it as well. But I don't care. She's dope. Did we see what's going to happen next time?
I think so, but I can't think of what it was.
Oh, I know what's going to happen. They're going to have the Redestro versus Shiki fight. I love Redestro, by the way. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, because I'll say things to you on the podcast that I'll then reference later, like 2 episodes later on this podcast, but I'll also talk to you every day about it.
Yeah.
So it's hard to fucking keep straight what I say to you.
Yeah.
But Redestro's quirk is he uses stress to manifest like a power up, so he gets like really fucking strong if he's really fucking stressed, and like he essentially like does things that makes him like super stressed out, so that he's really powerful all the time, which I think is a really cool idea and concept. That being said, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but at least in my opinion, the fight that happened between them in the manga was not that overwhelming. Like you would think it'd be really fucking cool. You're like, oh, the more stressed I am, the more powerful I become. Like one might even figure I'm as strong as All Might. I don't know if he says that, but that would probably be someone's thinking.
Right.
The fight happens, and you're like, meh, whatever, and they just move on. Nonetheless, I'm still excited for next week's episode because we still haven't seen Shigaraki's like background story.
Oh, that's
like
that's also
we've
what's
seen
supposed
like
to happen in the next episode.
We got like they talked about a little bit with his hands again. Caitlin was like straight face, no emotion, just staring at the TV. When it's like, oh yeah, these hands are your family, and it's I look over and she's just staring into the TV. Like, Caitlin, how do you feel about that? Huh? Oh, that's weird, bro. Yes, it is.
Crazy.
That's crazy, dog. It's crazy as shit. Is there anything else you want to say about My Hero apart from that, like other than being excited for the Shigaraki background sequence?
Nope.
Okay, let's talk about the other thing that we were going to talk about. Oh, we're going to talk about what we did during quarantine, other than not record.
Yeah. So since we had to quarantine in the house for 10 days, did I introduce this to you? Or I was like, oh, I started watching Sims videos, right?
Either you introduced me to it, or I just fucking like came in to your room and you were like watching Lil Simsy or Vixella.
Okay. So at one point, I just started watching these videos on YouTube that were Sims related, and so we discovered Lil Simsy and Vixella. From watching them, I was like, oh my god, I really want to play Sims. So basically, a while ago, Josh was like, oh, The Sims is $5 on Steam. I was like, sweet, let's get it. So we have that on the computer, and then I was like, we need to play this, because I keep watching them play The Sims and doing all these challenges and everything, and I was like, I want to play. So we created, like, ourselves, Josh and I, in this world, and basically, like, gave our... One save is, like, we gave ourselves a bunch of money, and then we were like, let's have you build a rocket ship, let's have you mess around with the telescope, and then become, like, a famous painter or whatever, so we're doing all this bullshit. But then Josh and I, like, kept creating other, like, saves.
Yeah.
Where I would... Well, first things first, I downloaded Get Famous, and then I, like, was gonna wait until if something was gonna go on sale, but then I ended up buying Cottage Living, which is one of the, like, I think the newer packs, or expansion packs, and I was like, I need this pack, because Lil Simsy and Vixella have just been playing either, like, rags to riches on Cottage Living, or just building in Cottage Living areas or whatever. So I was like, we gotta get this. So I ended up buying that. So we've just been, like, messing around in The Sims and everything, and kind of go off my story. I started a family in the cottage living. So there was me, and I chose Niall Horan, I'll admit it. And then I gave ourselves like 2 kids. So like they were already like 10 years old or whatever. And then I made that mistake going into the cottage living, and it was just so terrible because you have to like take care of your animals, of course. You got to feed them, you got to like get to know them, make sure they're happy and their places are clean. And then you have to like collect the eggs every day. You got to hatch the eggs. You have to clean the coops and everything. So at this point, like today, I have a bunch of chickens, I have a cow, and I have a llama. So there's 3 separate things that you have to take care of. You have to like clean the cow, clean the llama, milk the cow, shear the llama, you know. But aside from all of that, I have this like garden area. So I'm not just taking care of animals, I'm also taking care of plants. So imagine just like 4 people in a family and then just having a baby. So there's 5 now. And you're like, I gotta take care of the baby. I gotta go, garden, go into the garden and take care of the animals. And it's like, oh my god, why did I do this to myself?
My favorite part about The Sims that I also hate is that there's like no explanation on how anything works.
Right.
Even if like you look at the descriptions for the things that you're purchasing, or like you need to know how a game mechanic works, there's nothing in that fucking game that will tell you like how to fix it or like do it. Because I've watched Vixella play Rags to Riches as well, and I'm sure I've seen her do it 1,000 times. But in order to like get like oversized seeds, which is like a new mechanic they put in the game, you have to like either click on the farm plot you're gonna farm and say buy seeds, or go to the vendor, and there's no other way to get them. But it doesn't tell you that. You have to fucking like figure it out. I'm like, what the fuck? It took me like an hour to figure that out.
Yeah.
And I was upsetty spaghetti at the time, but I look back at it and I thought it was just funny. So I was like, what the fuck? All I had to do was just click on the fucking farm plot. And also, it's something that I hate about The Sims is you can't change the key bindings. You and I discussed this early into your quarantine. Yeah, the hotkeys, the key bindings are, if you want to stop, you have to press like O or P.
Oh, to like pause.
It's probably P for pause.
Yep.
But if you want to speed up, it's 1, 2, or 3 on the numpad. And you're like, why the fuck would you do that? Just make pause 1, and then 2, 3, and 4 control 1, 2, 3. Like, then you don't have to fucking dance on your keyboard while controlling it with your mouse.
This would be like when you're using WAS to like move around, because you can use that to like move forward, move sideways, move backwards, and everything with the camera. So then it would just be more convenient to do 1, 2, 3, 4 for pause, start, and then speed up or whatever.
It goes even deeper than that, though.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what the Q and E key bindings are, Caitlin. But when you have WASD, when you have tank controls on, when you use WASD, like my automatic thing to do is have Q and E be the rotate camera buttons, because that's so important in a game like that. It's like to have the rotate camera buttons be right next to where you can control the camera. However, Caitlin, can you tell me what the rotate camera keys are in the current key bindings of The Sims 4?
The current ones are like the little caret icons, or like the less than or greater than symbols.
Yeah, which is on the other side of the keyboard next to pause.
Yep. So it's like how I've developed my hand sitting on the keyboard is having my first finger and my middle finger on the caret icons, or whatever kind of symbols you want to call them. And then my thumb is on the space bar, because the space bar is also like you can switch between sims. So that's just my constant like.
Oh yeah, it is space bar, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my constant like hand gesture on the
every
keyboard.
Game, Caitlin, that I've ever played where you have like a mechanic to like switch between players, it's always tab.
Oh,
it's like tab or shift.
That makes sense.
Oh, well, it makes insane sense, Caitlin. If they allowed you to change the key bindings, or if they just made it standard where pause was 1, and then 2, 3, 4 for 1, 2, 3, and then rotate camera was Q, E, and then WASD. 90% of everything you have to do in that game is now within like a hand's reach, and it's all very compressed, like right there. It would make so much sense to put it there, but they were like, P for pause, 1, 2, 3 for speed, space bar. See, even if you made the space bar even if you didn't change that and you kept it as spacebar, WASD and your thumbs on spacebar, so you can just move around so easily. But if you changed it to tab, which most games put that as standard, that's just your pinky finger. It's all right there.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, this.
I wouldn't be as frustrated if the caret symbols or whatever being so far away, if like my mouse actually worked, because if you right click you can rotate the camera, but for my mouse, I don't know what is up with it. I think I stole it from mom, but like it just doesn't work. I have to use the little caret things because the mouse doesn't work. So I wouldn't be as frustrated if I could just use that and just be able to twirl around, but I click it and it's like, what do you want? You want to move? You want to move this way? I'm like, no, I want to rotate.
What's that? You want to murder that sim? No.
No.
Good game though. Love it.
Yeah. Okay, so in a little tangent here, but I was watching Vixella's old playthrough of like The Sims 3 or something, and I was just blown away by like the look of it, because like what I mean by that is like click on things to do like actions, your Sim's head pops up, and then when you move the mouse around to like pick something, it moves with the mouse, and I forgot that it did that, and so it just blows my mind that it used to look like that and everything, and
yeah,
it was just like, oh my gosh, I remember doing that.
Oh my gosh.
Another thing that I remember was like the mailman would bring the newspaper by your house, and then that's how you would find a job. And then
yes,
yeah, it was just like stuff like that. It was crazy. I was just like, oh my, a new memory has been unlocked.
Or like I brought this up to you. There's like no cars in The Sims 4 that I've seen,
Right.
but I remember in past Sims games when it was time to go to work, like a shitty like 4-door shit box would like pull up and pick you up.
Yeah.
Because I have memories of playing that when we would go down and visit our cousins in the South, and we would always play. I think it was The Sims 2 or maybe The Sims 3.
Yeah, one of those two.
I don't know why I remember that particular part, but I do.
So, one thing that kind of annoyed me when playing like Sims 2 or 3 was like you always had to make sure you had two things. One of them was a fire alarm, and the other thing was a security system, because people in The Sims would just come and like rob your house, or you would like randomly like your house would just burn down or something. Which, like, in The Sims 4 does happen, so, like, that's just... I feel like it doesn't happen as much, though. But they don't do, the robbery thing anymore that I've seen. But one thing that really annoys me in The Sims 4 is when you have a computer, or if you have a freaking fireplace, Sims that you invite to your house will just randomly fucking go onto your computer and just use it to their liking. And then
who's that guy?
Don Lothario.
Fucking Don. I hated Don so much. Fuck you, Don.
Don would always come to our house to hang out with me, and then
he would call Caitlin and be like, "Yo, girl, what's up? Can I come hang out? Come over." Immediately get on her computer or my computer.
Use the computer. Yep.
And then I would be like, "John, get the fuck out of my house!" But I would just say that out loud. Caitlin would be playing, but I would be in the game as one of the Sims.
In kind of going off of that, it's just like you have to like lock your computer so that only your Sim can use it, which is not a big like hassle or anything. But it's having the fireplace in your house and then having every Sim that sets foot into your house just come in and turn it on. It's like, don't come into the house every time you're here just to turn that on, and then I have to turn it off. Like, what if it does start a fire in the house? Like.
Yeah, I remember, like, the first time that Don came over after we locked the computer, I imagine he called you up and he was like, "Oh, hey, girl, can I come over and hang out?" You know, and you're like, "Oh, yeah, sure, Don, sure." He comes over. All right, cool. Comes over, tries to get on your computer. It's locked. And I was standing there like, "Yeah, I know, I locked it." "All right, bet." And just like, lit our house on fire.
Yeah. Oh, so lately I've noticed this playing as, like, so I have two other Sims that are, like, doing the famous thing. So they're doing, like, they go to auditions and everything, or they're, like, my Sim's, like, a famous painter, right? So the other thing from what I've noticed is, like, people just, like, will randomly walk into your house. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They'll just walk right in. And it's like, what are you doing? You know, it's like you lock the front door, but they'll just come through the back door. So randomly, I just have this guy come in, and he's like, "Oh, I like your chair over here," and it's like, "Get out of our house!"
I want waffle fries.
Exactly. But that's another annoying thing, and it's just like I don't know what to do. Like, I guess I just have to lock the fucking back door now too.
Yeah, I remember you were romancing Dawn at the time. I don't know why you were, but I started romancing like another NPC that lived there, and she was like blonde. I can't remember her
Oh
name.
yeah, I don't know her.
Was
name.
it Caliente?
No, she's a redhead. I'll
But she, like,
say something after you're done.
well, I remember you were at like I don't know if you can lock the front doors or something, but like you told her to leave. You were like, "Go away, like go
Yeah.
home," and then she walked in the side door, and she was like eating food at our table, and you were like, "What the fuck is she doing here?"
Yeah.
I don't know. She wanted a sandwich, I guess.
Apparently it's canon. This is what Lil Simsy has said. But apparently, Don Lothario is apparently going out with one of the Caliente people, ladies, whatever. But I think he's also like two-timing them.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know the full
That's
extent of it, but
canon.
apparently that's canon. Yeah.
I love that. That sounds like a Don Chad move.
Stupid. But yeah, that's what we've been doing for a month now. I think we've continued to play, and I really like the cottage living expansion. There's other things that I would really like to get. Apparently, there's like a base game like table that you can sell your stuff on. So I'll do like cross stitching in the game, and then you can like sell that. So and you can do also like canning stuff. So I'd like to do that and like sell it on a table. I just have to figure it out. But yeah.
That's all you had to say about The Sims?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Can we talk about Jennifer's body, please?
Yes. So a little backstory about Jennifer's Body. We've never seen this movie before, and a lot of people like watching this, and they like watching it around spooky time or just whenever. Depends on what kind of person you are.
Which is surprising.
I think it's our sister's one of her favorite movies, and I think a lot of people like to classify it as being iconic. And in the end, I really like the movie. I just really like Megan Fox and her character and everything, but Josh has different opinions.
I think it's trash.
You trash.
You trash. There's just a lot of things. I didn't like the dialogue. I didn't like the acting.
I mean, it's a typical cringy. When did this movie come out? Like 2000s, probably.
Yeah, but iconic doesn't mean cringy. I guess it does in some respects, but like, if you were to ask me like what iconic movies there are, you know, maybe if I was hard pressed to think of like, you know, 20 movies, I would probably say some like Jesse Eisenberg movie or like, oh, what's that movie with Ramona Flowers? Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh, okay.
Like that, you know, that one can be cringy, and you know, in probably a few respects, it's probably a bad movie, but I like it. But then again, I'd have to think of like 20 movies and then probably say that one. The movie started off bad with what they did to J.K. Simmons.
I was just about to mention that.
I hate how they made his character look. I hate the way they wrote his dialogue.
Yep.
And I was waiting for it to become relevant, and it never was.
And it never did. Yep.
And the movie ended, and I just turned to Caitlin and I said, "What the fuck was with J.K. Simmons that whole movie?" Caitlin said, "I don't know." I was like, "Why the fuck did he take that role? Like, what necessitated that?" Because there's like an actor in the movie who also has the last name Simmons, and I was like, "Oh, you know, maybe that's his kid." Like, no, there's no relation. Why the fuck was he in that role?
Yeah. So, from my point of view, when we were watching this, we get introduced to J.K. Simmons' character. I can't remember what his name was, but
it's J.K. Simmons. That's what he plays in every movie.
He plays as himself.
Yeah.
But he comes in and he's the teacher, and he's like talking about like the recent deaths that have been going on around their town. But the thing about his character is he has like he doesn't have a hand. He has I don't even know what that's called. It's just like a hook.
Yeah, I would call it a prosthetic just to be general. It's one of those things.
True.
It's like a metal pike, but it has a clamp on the end so we can hold things in it. I don't know the technical term for that type of prosthetic though.
Yeah, so he has like a prosthetic for a hand, and we're like, okay, he's here, whatever. And then later on, we see him again. He's like, he's getting into his car, and there's this guy screaming in the woods because Jennifer is attacking this guy, right? And he's like, oh, just let it out because he thinks
Yeah.
he thinks they're like upset
Yeah.
about the deaths of their like classmates or whatever. And
I
so
forgot about that.
yeah, but I was like, oh, do you think like he could be like whatever the heck Jennifer was like?
She was a succubus.
Yeah, so I was like, what if J.K. Simmons like hunts succubus or
Succubi, I think
succubi,
is the technical term.
And so it was like he's like, oh, what if it like goes back into like his background story with like his hand and everything?
My father was a succubus. He killed my mother.
He's just a teacher.
He's just a dude.
Has a prosthetic hand, and we're like, okay, that's fine, I guess.
I guess to be fair, in the regard that back then, I don't know the order of how it came out. It probably went Jennifer's body, then Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And even back then, I don't think J.K. Simmons was as famous as he is today.
Spider-Man came out first, and then Jennifer's Body. Because Spider-Man came out in 2002, and Jennifer's Body came out in 2009.
Because when we were kids and we were watching that, I didn't think about like J.K. Simmons being John Jonah Jameson or whatever the fuck his name is in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I just thought about, oh, this guy's really funny. He plays the editor man really well. And then, years later, I'm like, holy shit, I forgot J.K. Simmons played Jonah Jameson in this fucking movie. And I loved him for it. But that might have been not because he's not as famous as today, but it was because I was a child. But, either way, I love J.K. Simmons. I want to see him in every single role ever.
Yeah.
I want to see him in Marvel Cinematic Universe 2 Electric Boogaloo. I think he will be now because they're making the new Spider-Man movie, and I think I read something online about him reviving his role as Jonah Jameson.
I thought I heard his voice in the trailer.
Well, that could have been like an audio clipping that they took from like the old recording from Sony.
True. I'm looking at some facts about this movie.
Okay, I'll bring up something else I didn't like about this movie, and it was the boyfriend with Jennifer. Sorry, not this movie. Jennifer's Body, to be explicit. I hated the boyfriend so much, and it was like one line that just made me decide I completely hated him. Like I hated the way he spoke, and his dialogue, and like the portrayal. And I don't want to say it's the actor's fault, or if it, like I don't know what the reason was. I just hated this character. And one thing that I fucking heard, and I went, "You got to be shitting me," was the mom was trying to like give him like mace or something to like protect himself from all these gruesome murders that were happening. Mm-hmm. And he goes, "Mom, calm down. I've been hitting the Bowflex." And I was just like, the fucking Bowflex the whole time. And then at one point during the movie, there's a scene in a pool where Jennifer, played by Megan Fox, is like trying to kill him. And I turned to Caitlin and I looked her dead in the eyes and I said, "The Bowflex failed him." We had a good chuckle about that during the movie. And that was probably the best. That was probably my most favorite part in the whole movie is when I turned to Caitlin and I said, "The Bowflex failed me." Or him, sorry. And then I was pretty much done with the movie, but I had to see it through to see what they would, like, what J.K. Simmons' relevancy was, and it was nothing. He was just a dude. Just a dude.
Alright, so some facts that I've been reading up real quick. Two actresses auditioned for Needy, who was Amanda Seyfried. Brie Larson and Emma Stone both auditioned for that role.
Wow.
Which I could have seen either of them in that.
Yeah, I could see both of them doing that. All right, let's talk about this other movie that we watched. It was on Netflix. It stars, forgive me if I get her name wrong, Ashley Greene, right?
Yep, who played Alice in the Twilight series. So it was kind of interesting seeing her
going into it.
And then, well, first of all, let's just mention that it's a Netflix movie, which is kind of big, and it came out this year, and it was I think, promoted, so it was like, oh, there's a new movie called Aftermath with Ashley Greene, and it was, like, in the top 10, I think, for a little bit. But go ahead, state your piece.
It's trash.
It's pretty bad.
Hot Garbo. I didn't care the whole time. I got this. I got the sense of the movie straight from the trailer. Like I looked at it and I was
Yeah.
like, "That's
Yep.
the boy. That's literally the boy."
Literally.
And it's not Dat Boy. It's the boy.
That boy.
There were no
Well-
oh shit what ups going on in this movie. I was like, when is this movie gonna end?
And it was based on a true story.
Yeah, but that like
Events.
yeah, but like
It's very loose, I know, but
yeah, it's a loose interpretation of what actually happened.
Yeah.
Which doesn't
I'm
necessarily
saying-
say that it could be 100% accurate. It's just like, yeah, but
it's still there though.
the most entertaining thing about this movie, which albeit is weird, is Ashley Greene in the case of the disappearing nipple.
Yep.
Because it being the film that it is, there's like one gratuitous sex scene in it. Is gratuitous the right? I keep saying gratuity, not gratuity, gratuitous. I'm just gonna Google it. That's the word of the day.
Yeah.
Is Josh talking out of his ass like he knows what he's talking about? Uncalled for, lacking good reason, unwarranted. I would say gratuitous because it's just, you know, I guess in this sense it wasn't gratuitous because in the movie canonically they're having like marital issues. You have to watch the bad movie to watch it. I don't even want to
Yeah.
talk about it. Either way,
Let's just mention this. They're basically getting down and dirty and whatnot.
yeah, they're banging on the couch.
Yeah. Let's not be
That's
around
what
here.
Yeah, well, that's what happened. Like they come home and they're like, oh, you know, I'm so stressful. I think there's a ghost in our house. Here, have a glass of wine. Yeah. Oh, so you want to fuck? And then they just have sex right there on the couch.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck?
Basically, she's shirtless and everything, and all of a sudden, I don't. It was just out of the corner of Josh's eye, apparently, and he was like, "Hold on," and I was like, "I think I saw that too." And then we rewound it, and for some reason, they like edited her nipple out of
Yeah,
the
so-
shot.
So, there was nudity. You saw like one of Ashley Greene's nipples. I was just like watching the scene, just staring at it, and then I see like the flicker, and it was like it wasn't even like a straight cut. Like it's like they took a brush and like painted over it, so like it wasn't there. But it was like a shitty like 2009 Microsoft PowerPoint effect where it just kind of like swoosh and then it's gone. And I was like, did you fucking see that? And Ken was like, I saw something. It was weird though. And then we had to like rewind it, and there it was. It was like, oh, they just decided to edit out that nudity for some reason, but kept
Yeah.
in some of it. I laughed about that to the rest of the scene. And now whenever we talk about it, I always say the full line, Ashley Greene in the case of the disappearing nipple. 'Cause I
Yeah.
don't know why they left that in. But the whole movie just kind of seemed to be like a kind of low budget effort, so I guess that kind of explains it. Because there were times when we were watching it, and you would point it out because you saw it better than I did, but there were times where like the video was like squished on
I
one
was gonna
side.
mention that, yeah.
Like the lens was like really shitty, or in editing, like they were like somehow it got compressed.
Yeah, it was just really weird. I want to look up the budget for this movie real quick.
Apart from that, though, nothing else really to say. I didn't care about the twist. I didn't care about the reveal, as I called it in the trailer. I just said, that's the boy. And if you don't know what the boy is, it's a movie about this dude who lives in the walls and basically fucks around. What's her name? The guy who plays Maggie Green in The
Yeah.
Walking Dead. And yeah, I saw the trailer and I was like, it's the same thing. It's the same movie.
Apparently, the budget for Aftermath was $10.5 million.
What?
Yep.
They must have spent most of that getting like the main
The cast,
actors.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the one who plays the husband is relatively famous as well. I should just say he's famous. He's 1,000 times more famous than I am, but you know,
Yeah.
like if you compare him to Brad Pitt, he's relatively famous.
So apparently Ashley Greene's net worth is $8 million.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, now I'm googling things too. we're both just this is what the podcast is. It's just you and me googling, and the audience just hears us clicking and us saying
Yeah.
sorry.
Sean.
Sorry, I'm
Ashmore-
googling.
Shawn Ashmore was the husband in this movie, and the only thing that I can like recall was him being in Cadet Kelly, which was an old Disney original movie, Disney Channel, I should say.
Oh, he played Iceman in X-Men. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. I dig that. I can guarantee you've seen Frozen because I remember you rented it and you told me it was a scary movie, and I was a big baby back
Yeah,
then,
that was
and
another
I didn't
one.
watch it. I came in and asked you about it after you finished it, and you're like, "This movie was trash."
It was garbage. His net worth is apparently $3 million.
Oh, he was in Fringe. That's cool. I love that
11
show.
million. Hold up. I wonder if they got paid that much. They didn't get paid that much.
No,
For
they
that
didn't get
movie.
paid. They didn't get paid their net worth.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking like that's how much they're. Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
He
went
was
all
an
went,
animal.
it all went to the cast.
Or something. I don't know what they could have. Probably on the house as well. You know, like location.
Yeah.
I know it didn't go on equipment or editing.
That's kind of. I guess we could just move on to the next thing. That's
Yeah,
really
that's
our
fair.
opinion.
We've done our horribleness to this movie far enough. You know, I bet they worked hard on it.
Yeah.
And in the end, it did make me laugh, so it was entertaining.
Just to move on from that, we've been watching a lot of American Horror Story. So
Yes.
the reason why I brought it up is because the newest season came out.
And
So
we are watching it.
We are currently watching it. So we can kind of talk about that a little bit, but I also wanted to mention that after watching the first 2 episodes that premiered, I was like, we should watch another season. I made Josh watch the Apocalypse season, which was really good. That's probably your
Fantastic.
favorite season, right?
Oh, it's dope as shit.
So we watched that one, and then I think we watched 1984, 1987, whatever that season's called, the 80s, with Emma Roberts and everything.
I think it's 84.
Well, we watched that season. You liked that one, too. And then I was like, okay, we have to watch the Coven season, because Coven and Apocalypse take place in the same universe. So it just made sense that we had to watch that. So we just finished that season. And what did you like that season? I liked it. That's my favorite one.
Coven?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It was. I liked it. It's hard to say. I think it was a good season, but like at a certain point, it was just like I feel like all the characters were just like, man, well, fuck you. I'm a witch. I'm more powerful than you. I'm gonna be the next Supreme. And then like Cordelia was like running around. She's like, this is like literally something you shouldn't be looking forward to.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna get stronger just because you're practicing, but you're gonna become insanely strong because if you become the Supreme. But if you become the Supreme, you're probably gonna die in like 10 years or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, how do you know we're not gonna die now? And then they would just kill each other. Be like, well, stop killing each other and you'll live longer.
Yeah.
Easy math.
But then we also watched the Cult season, where it takes place during like the election. So
I really liked Colt.
did you
Colt
really?
was really good. Yeah, it was really fucking good.
Okay, I wasn't sure what you thought about that season.
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. But there's still... I don't think we watched Murder House, or... I know we haven't watched Freak Show.
No, we watched a little bit of Freak Show because I watched it and I was like, I don't want to watch this. But that was like 5 years ago.
Okay. Well, we haven't watched Murder House or the second season. I can't remember what that one's called, but that is where... there's like it's called Asylum. That's what it's called. But yeah,
Is that all you wanted to say?
Is
that all you wanted to say?
Well,
we're just watching it.
I was gonna ask you if you had anything else to say, but then we can move on to the episodes that we've watched.
Oh, okay. I really liked Colt, and it's hard to explain why because I feel like I want to immediately say it's because they had a lot more things to say about like actual things that go on within the world, but then of course. Obviously, it's television, so it's a work of art, or at least it has like a message or interpretation to get across. Mm-hmm. And I feel like those seasons do really well in conveying whatever message they're trying to do. I just felt like this one was the most effective, at least for me in today's day and age, because I saw that and I was like, this makes a lot of fucking sense. And there was also just a lot of really good acting. I can't remember her name, but it's that gal. In Cult, she was the news reporter. She was in a show that I watched, I think, like a year or two ago.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
She was in the 100, and I loved her character in the 100. Yeah. And I didn't really see her in anything else, but now I know it's not because I liked her character for being a badass in the show, but the lady who plays her is also a very good actress. Like she's really good. So it's what added to it was the amazing cast that they always have around. I love Billy Eichner as well. I think he's
really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, Evan Peters and Sarah Paulson.
I'd be hard pressed to find anybody in that recurring cast that like I don't care for. I don't have one.
Oh, there's another season that we haven't watched called Hotel.
Okay.
That's also referenced in Apocalypse, so we should.
Oh,
watch
cool.
That one.
Cool.
I've only seen it once, and I honestly can't remember a lot of it.
Is it the place where Queenie ends up?
Yes.
Okay.
And Lady Gaga's in that season as well.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Lady Gaga's in the hotel. I was like, Lady Gaga's in the hotel? Okay. I get it now.
But yeah, we'll talk about the first 3 episodes that we've watched. So we don't have Fox on our TV. We have Hulu, so we have to watch it every Thursday.
Are we talking about, what's it called now? What's the name of this new season?
I'll have to
What's
Google
the theme?
It real quick.
But season 10. I know that much.
No, I think it's season 11.
Either way, there's There's like a hint at aliens.
Is Macaulay Culkin?
And vampires. Yeah, and Macaulay Culkin, basically. That's what the name of the season is. American Horror Story, Macaulay Culkin. That's about it, really. I'll give a premise to the first episode. So basically, like a TV writer is taking some time in a Massachusetts town on the coast with his family. He has a wife and daughter. It's a pretty old house, but apparently it's pretty nice. I don't like the look of the house, but his wife is like an interior designer, so she's going to go in there and like fix it up for him.
Who's obsessed with Lyme disease.
Yeah, she keeps talking about Lyme disease for some fucking reason. They get to stay there for free for 3 months, and he has to write like a script for a new show in 3 months. The whole season is like about talent as of now, because they find out about this drug that like can make you like a really good whatever the hell you want to be good at if you're good at it. And if you're not good at it, you turn into like a pasty vampire person. And they get attacked in the beginning of the show by these people, and then we find out what they are. They're called like the Untalented or something, or that's just a name we made up for them. I don't know. Macaulay Culkin's in there. He's he like does drugs and like he's like a prostitute.
I like his character.
His character's good. I think Macaulay Culkin is doing a really good job playing it. He gets his hands on the drugs and he becomes like a really good writer. So he wants to like make money. I see this is something that I don't know because at some point Macaulay Culkin and Sarah Paulson's characters hook up in the sense that they kind of like hang out at Macaulay Culkin's like shack.
Yeah.
And they're just hanging out and they're talking about taking the pills, and Sarah Paulson's character doesn't want him to do it, but he wants to do it and he ends up doing it. But we haven't seen her since. So is this new episode gonna like fade in or like pan over to her face like dead in a ditch because he like needs to eat? Because one of the drawbacks of taking this drug, by the way, is you have to consume blood. Like animal blood works. It's kind of like Twilight where like animal blood works but human blood's best. And so what they do is they go on like little hunts in quotation where like they get on like Craigslist and they kind of sniff out like suspicious people who are selling stolen items or are like drug addicts. Because in their eyes, those are the people who are like worth getting rid of for society, so nobody will come like looking for them in terms of the murders.
Yeah. I
don't know where I was going with that, but yeah.
I've been trying to find the theme of this season, and all I can find is double feature. So
yeah,
I don't really know what it is called.
Do you understand the double feature though?
Do you?
Yes.
Tell me.
The first 6 episodes are going to be the current story that we're going through right now with the writer and his family. Mm-hmm. And then the last 4 episodes is going to be, I believe it's completely unrelated, but it's going to be aliens.
Oh, how did you know that?
I saw an article on the interwebs about it.
I see. Okay, gotcha.
I don't know anything about the aliens. Like, so far, we haven't seen Billy Laird or Evan Peters. So maybe they're saving them for like the last 4 episodes, but knowing American Horror Story, we know they're not afraid to like shove people in the same universe, like in the same with 2 different characters.
Right.
So I don't know if they weren't contracted or like they just kind of bowed out for like filming during the coronavirus. If this was filmed during the coronavirus, which I'm not entirely sure it was.
Apparently, Billy Lord will be in. Wait a minute. Apparently, she was in the first episode.
As who?
Leslie Lark Feldman.
What the fuck is Leslie Lark Feldman? Leslie Lark Feldman. Sorry, it's going to be very quiet now. We're back to the Googling portion of
I know.
Oh, yeah, she was the tattoo lady.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We're like, we haven't seen Billy Lord.
Where the hell's Billy Lord? I need my daily dose of Lord.
I need to tell you a side note.
Yep.
So, there's also Roanoke. That's another season that we haven't watched. And
is it like historical Roanoke?
I don't know. I've only seen like 1 or 2 episodes.
Oh, other people in a town and people are disappearing? Like a small town?
It's more of like there's like a group of crazy people that live in the woods or something, and this couple lives out in this really haunted, weird house or something like that. I don't really remember.
Is it ye olde times or like modern day?
It's modern day.
Oh, okay. So it's not historical Roanoke. There's a if you ever get interested, just Google it. There's a thing called I think it's Roanoke Island, but essentially there was a town. People were often seen going there and blah blah blah, and then like overnight the town disappeared because like a merchant showed up like a few days later and he was like, "Where the hell is everybody?" And like it was like a complete ghost town, but like there was no sign of like distress, like they had to leave or something. Like everything was perfectly fine. Like there were like dinner plates with food on them set out for dinner, and they were just left there to their devices, and like nobody knows what happens to them. And I think either the town's name was Roanoke, or in the center of town, the word Roanoke was carved on like a pole or something. I have to Google it now. I read this years ago.
Well, Cuba Gooding Jr. is in that season.
Is he really?
Yeah, he was in Radio and I think Rat Race. So he's like,
Yeah,
he's like the husband in this movie. I mean,
fucking
show.
love him. He's really good. I loved him in basically anything he does. He's just a really good actor. In the center of town, it wasn't Roanoke. It was Croatoa.
Oh.
It's very cool. You should watch shit about it. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, should we end this here with our weekly thing that we do with our quiz?
Yeah, I wanna do this quiz. We found a quiz to take. It's gonna be American Horror Story themed. This will probably be the third quiz we've taken in as many weeks.
It's which season of American Horror Story are you?
Yep.
You want me to start or do you want to start?
You go first.
So our first question is to pick a dessert. So we have brownie, chocolates, lava cake, cookies, pie, cupcakes, beignets, or red velvet cake.
Oh god.
Ooh,
You see, I love
goodness.
lava cake, and I would pick that, but I feel like at some point you would get really annoyed with the lava cake because you eat it and it's like, oh, it's so it's so quirky. You dig into it and scalding hot stuff comes out. But like the tenth time you eat it, you're like, okay, I'm done with the scalding.
I went
like
for
caramel. It's just so quick. I want pie. I love pie. Pick a place. You got New York, Florida, New Orleans, Philadelphia, Greece, Italy, San Fran, or LA.
I went for Greece.
Fuck, I don't want to go to any of these places. They all look warm and hot. Probably not Philly. New York gets cold too. Fuck, I don't know. Fuck, Italy.
Pick a color. Red, orange, green, black, gray, pink, gold, purple, blue, or yellow.
Gray. Obviously.
Could go for orange.
Again, here's another question that I hate doing every time we take one of these quizzes. Pick a word to describe yourself. Bold, unique, outdoorsy, mysterious, organized, clever, goofy, leader.
I'll pick one for you. You pick one for me.
I have one to pick. I think I have one for me. I would say goofy.
That's what I was going to tell you.
Okay. What are you going to pick for yourself?
Oh, man.
Oh, man, no.
I feel like you're going to think I'm pretentious for picking unique.
Well, here's the thing. I could certainly make fun of you for it, but I just hate picking it for myself because, like, it almost feels pretentious to be like, I think I'm very bold if I do say so myself. I am very clever. Okay.
Alright, I picked unique, so your turn. Oh, wait.
It's your turn to read.
Sorry.
Not to
Pick
lead.
an animal. Deer, dog, cat, goldfish, hummingbird, pig, snake, or eagle.
Give me that motherfucking dog.
Same.
Cute ass puppy. Pick a music genre. Country, show tunes, hip hop, classical, rock, jazz, electronic, pop. Oh,
Just
God.
pop.
I love music though. Here's the thing. I'm gonna pick country, but I want it on the record. I don't like new country. I like old country. So if this is like the kind of country music where it's like Johnny Cash,
You're so brave.
I know, yeah. Like Patsy Cline, Loretta Lynn, that kind of shit, that kind of music. Not the new country.
Alright. Pick a Halloween costume. Witch, superhero, celebrity, skeleton, clown, 80s workout instructor, astronaut, or ghost?
Can it be understood that if I pick 80s workout instructor, it's understood that I'm wearing lycra?
You're wearing what?
Lycra.
What's that?
That's the stretchy material. And
well, yeah, of course.
Okay.
I was gonna pick that one too. I'm gonna pick which though.
Actually, I'm gonna pick ghost. Just understood, if I did pick that one, it would be lycra. Pick a college major. Journalism, education, dance, theater, film, psychology, pre-med, science. I feel like they kind of left out the arts other than theater, film, dance,
I'm gonna
and
pick
pre-med.
dance.
I'm going to pick science. Pick what I picked, IRL.
Ooh.
What'd you get?
So I got 1984.
That's what I got.
Titular. Oh, really?
Yep.
Sweet.
Sheesh.
Nice.
I don't necessarily understand what that means about us, but the little blurb, it's just a synopsis. It doesn't even really describe. I like how it doesn't really ascribe why they think we are 1984. They're just saying, like, you're totally a 1984.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's right. We will leave this link in the description if you'd like to take it. We always do that so that.
Do you always
know
do
what we're
that?
talking about. Yeah.
Oh, wow, cool. I thought it was always like a sometimes kind of thing. You know,
no.
50%
I do
of
it
the
in
time
every
it works all
video
the
because
time.
we've done a quiz in every video we posted.
Well, yeah,
so.
that's our brand, Caitlin. We have
exactly.
to. Yeah.
So yeah, but we
Cool.
hope you enjoyed this long ass episode. It was fun.
We're actually not that long.
Oh really?
Well, we're over an hour, but like we've done like an hour and a half before, but we're not near an hour and a half right now.
Yeah. So we still have a lot to talk about.
I was kind of wondering if we wanted to record a second episode after this. Sorry for interrupting.
Who knows? But we have like, obviously we still have My Hero on Saturday, and now we have American Horror Story on Thursdays. So it's still nice to have something to talk about in the next episode.
All right, I've been Josh.
Caitlin.
Listen here, fella. Thanks for listening.